We must confront life's darkness. We must stare into the abyss.
Are you sure your father will approve?
What? Why are you bringing him up?
Emily's like, oh, all of a sudden you care about my dad's opinion? Why are you even talking about him?
There's nothing inappropriate about Shakespeare.
At the very least, maybe Austin and I could go through the script beforehand and cross out anything that might be controversial.
Or maybe you could stop being a nerd and shut the hell up. Hello and welcome to Nicole Reacts Up. I'm Nicole and I react to LGBTQ movies and TV shows. Today we'll be reacting to Dickinson Season 1, Episode 5. Last episode, unfortunately we had no Sue. Emily was very sad that Sue went to Boston, as was Austin, and we don't know how much that trip be costing. Sorry. Emily went on a trip to see her favorite author in an effort to save her favorite tree. And even though she was extremely disappointed by her favorite author, her father came in clutch for once and decided to help her save her tree. Unfortunately, we had no lesbian action in that episode, so it was like a complete waste of our time. However, we do have high hopes for episode 5. I hope, please, lesbian gods, please give us some lovin'. So let's see what episode 5 has for us today. Let's go.
That's it. I win. Old maid. You're the old maid.
I suppose I am.
Poor dad. Just an old spinster.
Oh, lonely me, lonely me.
It's your own fault, you know. There were plenty of men who wanted to marry you, but you said no to them all.
You know, I think I'd rather be a spinster than a wife.
Really? Why is that?
I think a spinster has more independence.
Edward, don't encourage her.
So in a moment of irony, awkwardness, and foreshadowing, Emily and her dad are playing Old Maid, which I don't really understand the concept of the game, but an old maid is a woman who's never gotten married. Emily sets herself up for this one and tells her dad, oh, so many people wanted to marry you, but you ended up an old maid. And the dad was like, I'd rather end up an old maid because I want to be independent. This is exactly Emily's mantra of life. And over there, the mom in the background is about to have a heart attack. She's like, over my dead, white, rich body. Stop giving her ideas.
Another fugitive, some southern fat cat who probably owns 200 slaves, loses one and claims he's somewhere in Amherst. And if any of us happens to see the poor fellow and don't hunt him down and turn him over, then we get slapped with a fine or sent to prison. They call it a compromise? I won't do it.
Good for you. It's horrible.
We should be helping slaves escape, not catching them and sending them back.
Absolutely right.
So by this conversation, it seems like Austin and Emily are on the right side of history, saying that slavery is wrong and that they don't agree with having to turn in a lost slave from the South if they were to find them.
Unfortunately, our Southern brethren have organized their society around us, so we need to have a certain amount of respect for their rules.
That's the point I was making.
Gross. You were?
I have relatives in the South, and they're not bad people. They're just
Stupid.
Backwards?
old-fashioned.
Meanwhile, George and Mr. Dickinson are kind of in favor of slavery, or if they're not in favor, they're kind of ambivalent to it and saying, well, you know, my cousins in the South own slaves and they're not bad people, they're just backwards. Ha ha ha, he he he.
And what am I supposed to do? Just not talk to them anymore?
No. You should talk to them. Talk to them about how their way of life is an abomination.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll make for a nice Thanksgiving dinner.
So it seems that within a century and a half, not much has changed in the divide of the North and South of the United States.
Mr. Dickinson, there's something I wanted to talk to you about.
What?
I can get into all the details, in private.
All right. My office.
George, don't forget we have Shakespeare Club this afternoon.
Oh, I know.
Meanwhile, George wants to speak to Mr. Dickinson in private, and Emily's suspicious. I think he wants to ask for Emily's hand in marriage, and I really hope he does not propose because he's going to embarrass himself and Emily.
Did Maggie get back from the post office yet?
Maybe.
Was there any mail? Maggie?
Meanwhile, both Austin and Emily are thirsty as hell for any letter from Sue.
Maggie, you're back.
Did you miss me, dearies?
Terribly. Was there any mail?
Yes, was there any mail for me? No mail for either of you.
Once again, no letters for Emily.
Out with it.
Well, as you probably guessed, I'm here to ask for Emily's hand in marriage.
I knew it. I knew it. This boy has a crappy poker face. He has a noker face.
Mr. Dickinson, I love your daughter. She is the most brilliant girl in all New England, and nothing could make me happier than to have her as my bride.
And you and Emily have discussed this.
Not quite.
Well, kind of. She never actually said yes. We communicate on pheromones pretty much. But I think she likes me, and I know I'd be a great husband for her.
Well, you're the one who published her poem. Aren't you?
Well, I wanted to make her happy.
But from what I've seen, you only seem to encourage her wildest impulses. A father worries, you know.
So I'm pretty sure George wasn't anticipating any pushback from Mr. Dickinson. However, Mr. Dickinson was not very impressed that George published one of Emily's poems. Even though it was in an act of love, trying to make her happy, that is not how Mr. Dickinson sees it. And once again, it is not about the happiness of a woman, but about suppressing her innermost desires. In which to that, I say,
We apologize for this lesbian's interruption. Nicole Reacts Up will resume momentarily.
Well, see, I've been trying to keep myself away from town for a while.
Oh, Henry. Did you get yourself in trouble with a woman?
He can't go into town because of the fugitive.
so I wasn't aware that they still had that maid. I thought she was fired. But anyway, they have a black man who does chores for them, I guess, around the house, or does errands. I'm not sure what he does. There is currently a slave on the loose. There's a bounty on his head in town. So Henry doesn't want to go into town because he's scared that he will get taken.
Oh my God. Henry, have you ever done any acting?
Not that I can recall.
We're reading Shakespeare today, Othello. You could play the lead.
I don't think so.
But you'd be so perfect.
If you don't mind, I think we'd better not.
Meanwhile, Emily thinks this is a great time to recruit him to play Othello in Othello, which is generally cast for an African American. He's very resistant, but we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, we get our first look at Sue. I guess she's in Boston, folding clothes, working for some family. Oh, look at her. She's getting her letters. I bet you one of them is from Emily. I bet you one of them is a poem. So she has one letter from Emily and one letter from Austin, and clearly picks Emily's letter first to open, with much care, might I add. And Sue seems very happy to have received that letter, even though she hasn't responded yet. Bitch, respond. Come on, be nice. Leaving Emily on red for months.
We must confront life's darkness. We must stare into the abyss.
Are you sure your father will approve?
What? Why are you bringing him up?
Emily's like, oh, all of a sudden you care about my dad's opinion? Why are you even talking about him?
There's nothing inappropriate about Shakespeare.
At the very least, maybe Austin and I could go through the script beforehand and cross out anything that might be controversial.
Or maybe you could stop being a nerd and shut the hell up.
George, you are being so lame. This is my Shakespeare club, and I say we're doing Othello.
So in an effort to get closer to Mr. Dickinson, George is now alienating the one he really wants to marry. And he's already alienated her just by being a man, so he's just making it worse for himself. Meanwhile, in a twist of events, Austin wants to play Desdemona, the female character. That's new. Maybe we aren't as close-minded as we thought we were, Austin.
I'm gonna play Desdemona.
That's a woman's part.
A character, to me, is a soul. And the soul of Desdemona is one that I relate to. Her love for Othello is so true, so pure, just like my love for Sue.
I thought you would do Desdemona.
That little hating ass bitch over there.
Here, I'm Iago. Awake! What ho, Brabantio! Thieves, thieves, thieves! Look to your house.
We must applaud our brother Austin Dickinson for the first time in this show. I actually like what he's doing. He's dressed as a woman, he's feeling his oats, and he's really getting into character. Meanwhile, this is the second time that we get to see Emily in drag, and let me say, she looks handsome once again. And this is how she looked in the first episode in drag. Handsome every time.
What profane wretch art thou?
I am one.
Austin is really feeling this
comes to tell
character.
you.
Here you go, some treats for the traveling band of players. Thank you,
Thank God for Maggie coming in through with the snacks and the sandwiches.
What a lovely gown you have, Austin.
I'm sorry, but just as a general thing, while I'm in costume, can everyone please call me by my character's name? It's kind of crucial to my process.
Oh, okay, I see Austin is method acting now. So we tried to get through a reading of Othello. However, George was being a little goody two-shoes, trying to suck up to Mr. Dickinson to hopefully get his approval of Emily's hand in marriage, and kind of ruined the whole thing for Emily.
I noticed that George asked to speak with you alone this morning. What was he asking about?
He proposed.
Oh, my goodness. This is exciting. You said yes, didn't you?
I told him I'd think about it. I haven't made my decision yet.
There is no decision to make, Edward. You just let him have her.
It's not up to you.
Oh.
So Emily's mother finds out that George asked for Emily's hand in marriage, and Mr. Dickinson said no, but he still has to think about it.
You'll never let her go, will you? It's like you want to marry her yourself.
I don't know about that. That's kind of gross.
I do this because Shakespeare is the greatest poet who ever lived, and you can't hear his poetry when it's being spoken by people who don't even listen to the words.
Beg your pardon. I just came to tune the piano.
Henry. Oh my God. Henry, you couldn't have shown up at a better time. We need you to act.
I told you I can't.
You can. Because I'm not going to be able to really understand this play unless you do.
Now, maybe this is because I went to performing arts school as a drama major, but even I, a plebeian, a peasant, not a Shakespeare fan, even I know that Othello is a black character. Emily is so excited because her Othello has just arrived. Emily is loving what he's given.
When I doubt, prove, and on the proof there is no more but this. Away at once with love or jealousy.
I don't think this is a good idea.
What are you talking about?
It just isn't proper. I'm sorry. But I just know this is wrong. A man of his kind shouldn't be in here acting with us.
Ooh, this is gonna be a real way to get you kicked out of the house.
Get out of here.
Excuse me?
I said leave.
Oh, good. I knew you were gonna kick him out. Good, get it, girl. Kick his ass out. Bye. Feel bad for Henry. This is awkward as hell for him.
This Shakespeare club has too much drama.
That's ironic. This Shakespeare club has too much drama.
How could you do that, George? You just ruined everything.
It's a dangerous world and I'm trying to take care of you.
I need you to take care of me.
But I want to take care of you. Don't you get it? That's why I asked your father this morning if I could marry you.
You asked him?
Yes. And he's thinking about it.
Did you think about asking her?
But I love you.
No, you don't. You can't. You don't even know me.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. All this time we've spent together, I thought you were listening, but you weren't. And how can you say you know me if you don't even listen to me, if my voice just doesn't even register? It's not up to my father to decide my fate, and it's not up to you. And I will never belong to you.
That's right. Stand up for yourself, girl. We know this is like the 1800s or something, but we're gonna pretend like we have rights. There we go. F you, George. Not you, sheep. You're fine. You're cute. But you, George, get out of here.
You let him go.
And of course, the mother's disappointed, but really, who cares about her opinion?
Life shouldn't be like this.
What should it be like? You're sitting here eating cakes and reading Shakespeare, trying to say this isn't what life should be like. But your life is easy, Emily Dickinson. You'll always have your father to keep you safe.
Message. Seems like Henry just gave her a reality check. It's like, girl, you are rich, you get to do whatever you want, and you're always protected. Your life is great, you need to stop complaining. But I know Emily meant life shouldn't be like this for him. Ugh. Meanwhile, Sue's boss is locking himself inside her bedroom for, we can only assume what. The dad's still thinking about his answer, even though Emily already gave hers. And there you have it, folks. That was Dickinson Season 1, Episode 5 in the books. This episode had everything. Girls in drag, boys in drag, Shakespeare Club, heartbreaks, and unfortunately, disgusting employers in the bedroom at night. But what we are left with are tons and tons of questions, such as, does Emily's dad want to marry her himself? Is Emily's little sister subjected to be an old maid if Emily is also an old maid? Is Sue ever gonna write Emily back? Come on, girl. How are we ever gonna get Austin to take off this costume? He looks very comfortable in it. All these questions answered next time and more on Nicole Reacts Up. If you like this episode, please hit the like button and comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notifications every time I put out a new video, which is every week. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram right here. We'll see you next time on Nicole Reacts Up. Bye.